It's more of the sequence of how does someone take their assets in retirement? If they have these multiple buckets, can we sequentially take money differently? So if they do have tax liability, can we reduce that tax liability because we mix and match assets that are being depleted in terms of used for income, to where maybe we take, here's something that I've done before. You take someone that has qualified money, like a 401k IRA type idea, and they have a pretty sizable nest egg in that asset. And because they've set up these cash value policies that are tax free, you let that thing sit and continue to grow once you even hit retirement, because it's self-completing now. There's no premium going in, but it's just continuing to get bigger in terms of cash availability. So what you do is you take the qualified funds and you say, I'm going to pay that down, which is a scary concept if you didn't have a backup plan. No one would ever do this. I'm going to take those qualified funds and I'm going to pay them down in 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever the timetable. And I'm going to take those accounts to zero. But guess what that's doing? That's giving you the largest amount of income you can possibly achieve in that time frame. Yes, are you going to be in a tax bracket? This is what we've been talking about. I want you in the highest tax bracket because that means you're successful. Mm-hmm. That means you have money. That means you don't have to worry about anything financially. That impacts how inflation is hitting you because you're taking more money out. You have more money to spend in your retirement because you have a secondary plan. It's almost like you have two separate retirements. You have the first retirement that we're going to spend down, and by the time you're 75 to 80, we've got another switch to flip on that's nothing but tax-free cash. That, by the way, you're never going to outlive, because by the time you flip that switch, you're older, you're not going to outlive your money. And then you wrap annuities inside this also that gives you a guaranteed income stream that acts like your pension. Now you can really change the dynamic of how you're taking money out. This is
then
all
you
something
pass
that
away
people,
and leave a legacy with the debt.
100%. That's what I was getting to. We teach people this stuff to where you can take money in a different fashion in retirement sequentially of how you take your money. There's going to be a defined idea of how we're taking money based on having something like this in place. Then we can actually start leaving legacies to family instead of starting over again. Because that's what people do. Everyone starts over again. There's hardly any legacy planning and nothing being passed on to the generation except for taxes. That's what's being passed along, because anything that's left, they've not protected. And in a whole freaking estate, because everything's qualified funds, they're now subjected to the taxes that you didn't pay because you died. I mean, it's a big circle that we have to try to change the paradigm shift again. We got to start getting this out there more, talking about how these things can be done and the impact that this one product has on your entire financial picture, not just while you're working, but also in retirement, and then in turn, legacy when you pass.
Yeah. And it's thinking beginning to end, starting today. Beginning to end, starting today.